Archsaint.
Righteous ponage. Greetings to thee, Archsaint here, and welcome to my thoughts on Pathfinder 2nd Edition on the playtest. A while back, Paizo announced Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and my initial reaction was,
it's time for Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
I didn't see a need for a 2nd edition of Pathfinder because they had unleashed Pathfinder Unchained, which had all these different variance rules for tweaking the game to your liking, and it just seemed completely unnecessary for a 2nd edition because they have so many resources available to where you can pretty much just play Pathfinder however you want it. So I'm not really sure why they went ahead and with the 2nd edition. A lot of people are comparing it to D&D 4th edition and 5th edition, a lot simpler, a lot more simplified. But from what I've, well, not only me, but other people have found is that in a lot of instances it's more complex, and there's a lot of bloat to it. And so my my initial, I guess, first impressions, if you will, are pretty negative. They've changed a lot of things. A lot of things that didn't need change that were completely fine. It seems like every aspect of the game they've changed somehow, and even the stuff that wasn't broke, they decided to break it. And there's also some other garbage they threw in the playtest I'll jump into, and so this is going to be a negative. This is going to be a negative look at Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I guess just a little background. I started off with D&D 3.5, then I moved to Pathfinder, and didn't really go far beyond that. 4th edition didn't appeal to me, and neither did 5th edition. So I have GM'd several games. I've been a player also. Haven't played in a while. Wouldn't mind getting back into some Pathfinder, but that's just my history with tabletop RPGs. I have been working on my own, so I do read stuff like this fairly frequently, the rules and so forth. But so I haven't actually played the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest in an actual game, and so if that invalidates my opinion, you can just, I guess, shut off the video now. I don't think you need to actually play a game to realize whether or not you like it or not, especially if it's based on a previous edition and you know the previous edition pretty well. Pathfinder 2nd Edition to me doesn't strike me as building off of Pathfinder. It's like it's its own thing. And the same thing with Starfinder. As everyone expected Starfinder to be Pathfinder in space, but it really wasn't. Well, it kind of is, because it's a continuation of the story. So as far as the story goes, it's like Galarian, but in the future, right? But as far as the rules go, it's its own thing, and a lot of people were disappointed, myself included, because I bought the PDF to check it out, and if I liked it, I was going to buy the hard copy. But anyhow, that's a separate thing altogether. So let's jump into the playtest, and if you haven't checked it out, you can go to paizo.com and download the rule book for free. And yeah, so let's jump into that. Okay, here's the playtest rule book. Nice artwork on the cover. Always liked Pathfinder's artwork. It's really consistent. A little bit, at times, it's a little bit cartoony, more so than some of the previous D&D stuff, but overall, it's acceptable in my book. What do we got here? Oh, we got ourselves a goblin alchemist. I will be talking about these guys in a bit. We have Valeros raising the shield. Now you have to actually say you're raising your shield. Might get into that. Okay. So the playtest so far to me has been a mess, jumbled about. Let's go to where to begin, man. This is frustrating. Okay, welcome to Pathfinder, and it talks about the evolution of the game. What I want to focus on here real quick is a lot of this SJW crap that Paizo has been pushing, and I noticed this in the forums before I even read this in this book. But this stuff alone makes me not want to buy this game, and I mean I'm already not because I don't like the second edition. But when game companies start pushing this agenda, I tend to just not buy their stuff because the best thing you can do is vote with your wallet. So it's incredible to me that Paizo has gone down that route. I almost still in disbelief on that. Let me see. I'm going to probably cut this video up a lot because I want to be reading stuff and there'd be a lot of gaps. So I might jump around a bit. Okay, down here where it says gaming is for all. It says whether you're a player or a game master, participating in a tabletop role-playing game involves an inherent social contract. I don't remember ever signing a contract when I sat down to play Pathfinder. Everyone has gathered to have fun together, and the table is a safe space for everyone. Everyone has a right to play and enjoy Pathfinder regardless of their age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, or any other identities and life experiences. Pathfinder is for everyone, and Pathfinder games should be as safe, inclusive, and fun as possible for all. I've never played a tabletop game that was dangerous. I mentioned safe twice, a safe space. I just thought that was for like college pansies, a safe space with like kittens and coloring books and stuff. I'm sure Paizo's aware, but in Pathfinder you kill a lot of people for gold. So it's really weird to me that they have this in here, but it gets even worse in the players part. Players, as a player, it is your responsibility to ensure that you are not creating or contributing to an environment that makes any other players feel uncomfortable or unwelcome, particularly if those players are members of minority or marginalized communities that haven't always been welcome or represented in the larger gaming population. Wow. Thus, it's important to consider your character concepts and role-playing style and avoid any approach that could cause harm to another player. A character whose concept and mannerisms are racist tropes, for example, is exceptionally harmful and works against the goal of providing fun for all. A role-playing style in which a player or character is constantly interrupting others or treating certain players or characters with condescension is similarly unacceptable. So I'm not really sure what group of people have been barred from playing role-playing games. I've been to gaming stores and whatnot, and I've never seen any type of like racism and stuff. This is really weird to me. It's very forced. It doesn't really fit the world too, because if you have a character who's racist, that's okay in a role-playing aspect. Like if you're a dwarf and you hate orcs, that's racism. The world of Golarion is, if I'm saying Golarion right, it's built on racism. The races, a lot of them don't like each other, and so that's a part of the game. And so to say don't build a character that's not racist doesn't make sense. Furthermore, standards of respect don't vanish simply because you're playing a character in a fantasy game. For example, it's never acceptable to refer to another person using an offensive term or slur, and doing so in character is just as bad as doing so directly. If your character concept requires you to act this way, it's a good sign your concept is harmful, and you have a responsibility to change it. I was DMing a game once, and one of the characters was a half-orc, and so I would call him Jolly Green, just joking around. He thought it was funny, but I guess that would be kind of like an offensive slur. Anyhow, sometimes you might not realize your character concept or role-playing style is making others feel unwelcome at the gaming table. If another player tells you that your character concept or role-playing style makes them uncomfortable, you shouldn't argue about what they should or shouldn't find offensive, or say that what you're doing is common and therefore okay among players or in other media. Instead, you should simply stop and make sure the game is a fun experience for everyone. After all, that's what gaming is about. And it doesn't stop there. It goes on. All of this is really hand-holding stuff, and it's telling you how you should be running your game and how your mindset should be about all this stuff. It's very irritating. I'm not the only one that's found it irritating. There's been a few videos about this so far. Okay, so Game Masters. The role of Game Master comes with the responsibility of ensuring that none of your players violate the game's social contract. Again, I never signed a contract to play a tabletop role-playing game, especially when playing in a public space. Be on the lookout for behavior that's inappropriate, whether intentional or inadvertent, and pay careful attention to players' body language during gameplay. Yeah, that's easy to do when you're GMing and you got like a million things going through your mind. If you notice a player becoming uncomfortable, you are empowered to pause the game, take it in a new direction, privately check with your players during or after the session, or take any other action you think is appropriate to move the game forward in a fun experience for everyone. That said, you should never let players who are uncomfortable with different identities or experiences derail your game. People of all identities and experiences have a right to be represented in the game, even if they're not necessarily playing at your table. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how far you want to take that. People of all identities and experiences have a right to be represented in the game. So you should put pedophiles in your game, and rapists, and well, I guess they'd be cool with like homosexuals. But that's a really stupid line, even if they're not necessarily playing at your table. So what Paizo is saying is you got to represent everybody, even if they're not there, and even if you're against you know, their beliefs and lifestyles and all that stuff. You got to represent everyone. That doesn't make any sense. You don't make any sense. Otherwise, if a player tells you they're uncomfortable with something in the game, whether it's content you presented as the GM or another player's actions, listen to them and take steps to ensure that they can once again have fun during your game. If you're preparing written material and you find the description of a character or a situation to be inappropriate, you're fully empowered to change any details as you see fit to best suit your players. Making sure the game is fun for everyone is your biggest job. Yeah, that's a given as a GM. So, I mean, the idea is not to be a jerk, right? If a player is really upset about something and they let you know, and you know it makes sense to change it, well then do so. I mean, this is like common sense stuff. But when it comes to, you know, bowing the knee to what they call it, gender politics and all this SJW garbage, that's completely different. Completely different. So yeah, that was a whole bunch of schlock. That was a whole bunch of garbage at the beginning of this book, trying to, you know, indoctrinate people into to bad thinking. There is a bad way to think, and this is it right here. So yeah, after all that, you can see the plague that has affected so many gaming companies. It also has hit Paizo, unfortunately. It's also hit their forums, because there are some serious weirdos in their forums, and also the forum moderators. One lady in particular that says some really stupid stuff. I read the forums. I'm not really active in the forums, but anyhow, basic concepts, modes of play, so on and so forth. Okay, so what they're doing in this game is, in the book anyway, there's a lot of symbolism going on for actions, reactions, free action, and so yeah, I guess you'll get familiar with it eventually, but right off the bat, I don't know, is that the symbol for reaction? Like, when you think of a reaction, does that come to mind? That's a weird, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you'll get used to it after enough time. Yeah, so one thing a lot of people are praising the second edition for is the action system. So in Pathfinder, you have your standard action. You can move. You have a swift action, a free action, and a full round action. And if if that's confusing to you and you never played Pathfinder before, it's real easy to learn. People are saying that Pathfinder is really complicated. It's not. Okay, it seems a little overwhelming, but once you get into it, once you learn the rules, things flow. Right? So people are praising this new action economy where you get 3 actions on your turn. Well, I'll just read it. You can use 3 actions on your turn in any order you see fit. When you use an action, you generate an effect. Sometimes this effect is automatic. Other times, actions necessitate that you roll a die and generate an effect based on this roll. Another thing they're doing with actions is some spells now consume more than 1 action. So in the first game, cast a spell would be a standard action. In this, it could be 2 actions or it could be 3 actions, which is kind of interesting. It lets you use a lesser variance of the spell or a greater variance of the spell. But for just briefly looking through the spell list, not a whole lot of spells take advantage of the new system. I think heal does. I can't remember what else. But basically for the heal one, you could, if you just want to take 1 action with the heal spell, it's a touch. If you take 2 actions, it's a range of 30 feet. And 3 actions, it's like a 30-foot radius, like a channel energy for a cleric. So you hit everybody with positive energy. So it is interesting. I do kind of like that, but I would miss the free action stuff. In fact, if I if I ever played this, I would house rule free actions. It wouldn't be hard to do. So then you have your reactions. Reactions are similar to actions in their effects, but are used differently. You can spend only 1 reaction per round, and only when its specific trigger is fulfilled, you can use your reaction on your turn or another character's turn as long as the trigger is satisfied. So, for example, an attack of opportunity would be a reaction. So I think 5th edition has reactions. Not really good on 5th edition rules, but basically if you're a fighter and somebody runs through your threatened square, that would trigger a reaction, which would be your attack of opportunity. And as far as I know, only the fighter gets an attack of opportunity in this, which is horrible, in my opinion. The paladin also gets one, kind of, but it's like a really nerfed version. So anyhow, then you have then you have free actions. Free actions follow the same trigger rules as reactions, and like reactions, you can use them on your turn or on another character's turn. Unlike actions or reactions, you can use as many free actions per round as you like, as long as their triggers occur. However, a specific trigger can trigger only one of a character's free actions. And so these free actions kind of sound like immediate actions, which I think I forgot to mention that for the first edition of Pathfinder. An immediate action is one you can use on your turn or on another player's turn. And so, yeah, die rolls, activities. I'm not going to cover the whole book, just some things that stuck out to me that I'd like to complain about. So, hit points. They also made dying kind of weird in this. In Pathfinder, you died when your negative hit points reached your Constitution score. In this one, it's more like 5th edition, where it's like once you're beyond 0, I think you roll like once or twice, and if you mess up, you're dead. I can't remember, but it's definitely different from the first version. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, like I said, they're trying to kind of reinvent everything. They have a character sheet, and they have it horizontal for some reason. I don't really think that's necessary, but whatever. You also notice there's not a whole lot of skills in this. It's very streamlined. We got 2, 4, 6, 9, 18 skills total. Okay, ancestries and backgrounds. Okay, so for some reason they decided to change the word race to ancestries. I have no idea why. Maybe they found the word race offensive. So you can't really have ancestors without an established race to begin with. And so if you're looking for like variances within a race, like ethnicities or whatnot, then you would look at what the character's ancestors were. And ancestry is a horrible replacement for race. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. In this game, you actually have different races. And you do have variances to those races, which would be their ancestors. I absolutely hate this. I can't imagine ever adopting this, and I won't. So they will still be races. That's another thing that boggles my mind. Okay, so ancestry garbage out of the way. Jumping into some of the races. Playing half-elves and half-orcs. In 2nd edition, half-elves and half-orcs are not their own race. They're basically, you pick a human, and then you pick certain ancestry feats that will make you a half-orc or a half-elf, which I think is horrible, because I really like half-orcs, and I want them to have their own thing. So haven't played too many half-elves, but I played a lot of half-orcs. Let me see here. One thing I kind of like with the races is that they have a base hit points. I don't really mind that so much. I think the classes have hit points too, and then you kind of add them together. I think Starfinder did that. That doesn't bother me so much. It's not a bad idea, because if you're playing like a halfling, right, you really shouldn't start off with like a base 10 hit points, because you're like a little dude, right? So you should have like, I don't know, 6 hit points as your base. It makes sense. I don't mind that. But they've really taken away a lot of what makes the races unique. They've basically stripped their racial traits, and you have to buy them back. So so with the dwarves, they still have this too, which is the ability bonus and the negatives or the penalties. They don't have it listed in here, but basically it's a +2 for the boost and a -2 for the flaw. If I remember that correctly, I read that earlier, because I was like, where's the stats? But they don't have it here, which would be really helpful, because when you're building a character. Anyhow, okay, bonus languages, traits, dwarf, okay, dark vision and unburdened. So this is what you start off with. You got your dark vision, you're unburdened. If your speed would be reduced by armor you wear or encumbered condition, you ignore 5 feet of that reduction. So kind of your standard dwarf. Actually, I think the one in 1st edition was better, unburdened. But yeah, so that's your dwarf. Boom. So if you want anything else, you have to buy ancestry feats. And so at 1st level you gain 1 ancestry feat, and you gain an additional ancestry feat every 4 levels thereafter. At 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th levels. And so you're basically, your character is like evolving as you play. Like you eventually, because you're a dwarf, you eventually gain like stone cunning, like out of nowhere, or ancestral hatred. It's like you don't start off with all this stuff. The elf kind of looks worse for the base stuff. Hit point 6, they are pretty frail. Yeah, low light vision, and it's just your bonus language. That's your elf. Boom. And now if you want something like, oh, here it is, Unwavering Mien, which is basically you're immune to effects that would cause you to fall asleep. So that was a base thing for elves. You're immune to sleep magic and some other stuff. But now you could essentially play a base elf that doesn't have that, but instead is like good with a bow or a sword or something. And so what that does is it makes it so every time you come across an elf in the game world, like you have no idea what their qualities are as far as their racial traits, because this whole thing is all jumbled up. So if you wanted to play an elf like to the fullest as far as what the first edition gave you, you'd have to be level 17. So a Pathfinder race at level 1 from the first edition, as far as their racial traits, is equivalent to a race of 17th level in second edition. And so they utterly nerfed all of the classes, and really for no reason. You can't even tell me this stuff is balanced, because if you look through the ancestry feats, I think they should be called ancestry traits. They sure are using the word feat a lot, and it gets very redundant. But if you look through the feats, some are very obviously better than others, and you only get 1 point to spend at level 1, and then you gotta wait till 5th level. And it doesn't make sense that you would eventually develop a lot of this stuff like over time. It's horrible. Gnomes, got your gnomes. So I absolutely hate how they did the races in this. It's more complicated. Let's look at, hold on. Hello, Pathfinder 1. Okay, come on. Some noise lags a bit. Getting started. Yeah. Count terms. Races. That is the Underdark. Okay. Let's go to, well, let's just go to the dwarf. Okay. Pathfinder 1, you play a dwarf. I want to play a dwarf. Okay, cool. Here's what you get. Boom. Right out of the box. All this stuff right here. Dark vision, defensive trading, greed, hatred, hardy. All this stuff is like you're ready to go. You're a dwarf, man. But in second edition, you get like this. This is what you get. And then we'll let you buy back, a few of these throughout your playthrough. And a lot of people don't play past level 10, and so you're not going to get, everything. So yeah, I hate this. I hate the races in the race setup, I should say, in second edition. Absolutely horrible. Oh, the goblins! Boy howdy. Okay, so goblins are now a main race, one of the core races, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. Goblins they're inherently evil from everything I've read about them. I even have the monster manual race thing where it goes into detail about the different creatures and whatnot. Goblins are very evil. They're also not very intelligent, even though intelligence is not an ability flaw. Wisdom is, but if you read about them, they really don't strike me as very intelligent. And so I don't know what society in their right mind would be like, okay, cool, we'll take goblins into our cities and stuff. They have a history. You can't, it doesn't make any sense. Somebody pointed out, and I thought it was funny, that goblins are basically treated as refugees, like from IRL. Where's it say? Okay, well, many have stayed to protect their... Okay, yeah, well, so goblins... There's goblin wars that scorch the Chitterwood, forcing tribes into hiding Now with new threats rising up, many tribal leaders have put aside their reckless ways in hopes of forging alliances that give them a chance at survival. While many have stayed to protect their homelands, others have become refugees, with some traveling to Absalom in search of a home that might offer them a sanctuary in a world that does not trust them. And so you have this this bomber race that people don't trust, and they're refugees. I don't know if that makes you think of anyone in particular or any group of people. Anyhow, so goblins. They've also made goblins alchemists, which I'll probably get into in a bit. I look at classes. I don't like that either, just because again they don't strike me as intelligent, and you have to be very intelligent to be an alchemist. So here's all the stuff you can buy back. Halfling. I never played halflings. Oh man, humans they get so gypped. I mean, this is your base human. They don't have any kind of like dark vision or nothing. They don't even have an extra feat, unless you can buy a feat or something. No. It's also weird that humans have ethnicities, but the other races don't have ethnicities. That I don't like that at all. Other races should have the same thing. So if you want to play a half-elf or a half-orc, then you have to take you have to spend a feat on either half-elf or half-orc. Okay, and then when you pick a half-elf or half-orc, you get to pick two of the following benefits: Elven Speed, increase your speed by 5 feet; Elven Tongue, which is language, give speaker, you gain diplomacy, low light vision. And so you pick two of those benefits, and you add that to your character if you want to play a half-elf. Same thing with half-orc. As a half-orc, though, you can pick either Intimidation, Low Light Vision, Orc Tongue, or Toughness. Half-orcs have Dark Vision. If I'm not... Oops. Yeah, half-orcs have Dark Vision. Half-orc, Dark Vision. But in this one, if you play half-orc, Low Light Vision. Well, that's irritating. What's Archsaint? Orc Blood. Oh, okay, if you pick Low Light Vision for up here, you can then spend another feat and gain Dark Vision. So what you would normally get for free as playing a half-orc, you now have to spend two feats to get Dark Vision. And you wouldn't get Dark Vision at level 1. You would have to get that later. So I guess you just mutate and get Dark Vision later on. That's so stupid. I thought that was a good idea. Then you get backgrounds, which adds kind of like, I don't know, like flavor to your character. It's for role playing and whatnot. I mean, I'm not against this whatsoever. It's just I just feel like you kind of do the whole background thing when you create a character. I don't get it. This is what 5th edition is getting praised for, is because you pick like your past or your background or your flavor of your character. Starfinder has that too. I'm like, isn't that what you do when you create a character? You like, okay, my character used to be from this place, and he used to do all this, and that's kind of his background. I mean, I thought you just kind of did that automatically, like create a story for your character. But I guess they need this. So, I mean, I'm not against it. It's not necessarily bad. Backgrounds. Okay, languages. So, apparently from what I've read, languages you can't gain a language as easy as you could in the 1st edition. In fact, if you want to gain another language, you have to spend a feat, which to me is a little excessive. I do like that languages are a little harder to learn, because language tends to be something that's kind of difficult. Having tried to learn a few languages in my lifetime and failed miserably, but in the first Pathfinder, you had something called linguistics, in which you put every point you put into it, you learned another language, and so you were spending a skill point. But in this, you have to spend a feat, which is pretty incredible. Anyhow, so that's your languages. Some people are complaining about that. All right, now we're on to the classes. And so it's like each class has their little symbol they made up for them. I'm not going to get too picky about that, but so the fighter is a shield and a sword. I think that's a javelin. It's like, what if I play like a halberd fighter? That doesn't really represent me. Druid is a sickle and a plant. It's like they're a farmer. Cleric is a shiny thing with a book and a potion and some scrolls. I guess that's kind of cleric-y. I don't know about the potion. The bard got a musical instrument and a scroll. I guess I always thought of a bard more as a like a lute than a harp, as far as your generic bard, what they would do, but whatever. Barbarian. I don't know what this is. Is this a helmet of some kind? And that kind of looks like a piece of cheese. I don't know what that is. Is that like a banner thing hanging off the edge? I don't know. That's weird. I would probably even picture like an enraged face for a barbarian. Alchemist, you get yourself a bomb and a flask. I would prefer if they had those long flasks, like the tiny ones that they flow. These are way too big. I'm trying to picture like an alchemist carrying these gigantic bombs around. Yeah, monk looks pretty good. Fists wrapped up with tape and stuff, and that kind of looks like a bow in the background. Paladin, you got your shield, it's like your warhammer and your sword and a scroll. I guess that could be scripture. It's not too bad, I guess. Ranger. If you got like a animal paw and an arrow. Rogue, you got daggers, and that's either poison dripping or blood. Sorcerer is a staff and a scroll. And your wizard is a book and a wand. So can wizards not use staffs, and can sorcerers not use wands? I don't know. But I think these could probably use a little improvement as far as the symbols go. But yeah, classes. I'm not going to get into all the classes, just the ones that I play and / or care about. So, oh yay, the alchemist. So they made the alchemist a base or a core class, which I didn't have any problem with the alchemist being an advanced class. Like, it never really bothered me. So I don't know what the change was all about. Maybe it had to do something with the rules for the playtest. I don't know. I am offended that they have they've taken the old alchemist and they've replaced him with a goblin. So goblins like fire. They like to burn stuff. They like bombs. They like things like that. That makes sense. But when it comes to like making, say, a potion of enlarged person or anything like that, for me, a goblin doesn't seem up to the task, because a goblin's a monster and they're fairly low intellect and so forth. Of course, you could always play the exception to the rule, but yeah, to me, goblins would be like killed on sight. So I don't like them being just another race running around. But anyhow, yeah. So alchemist. This is now the table for when you level up. This little thing right here. Before, actually, let me jump to the alchemist real quick. Okay, yeah. Advanced Player's Guide. Alchemist is on the cover. He's a half-elf, I believe. Okay, alchemist. Here we go. Yeah. So check this dude out. He might be an elf. I don't know. I think he might be half-elf, though, because usually the eyes are a little weirder on elves. Either or he has elf blood because of his ears. So this is the dude that was the iconic alchemist before, and I think he looks pretty cool. I like the... See, these are the type of things I think an alchemist would have more of than the gigantic bombs. See, like, look at that. Look how much space that takes up. Especially for that little guy. So having just a small flask that you can just like shake up really quick and then throw makes more sense to me. Of course, Pathfinder character artwork, they always looked a little over encumbered, shall we say. I mean, that's like a lot of stuff. If that dude fell down, if that's not easily breakable, I think he'd be okay. But seems like he's got a lot of breakable stuff on him. Bull in a china shop. Okay, let's go back here. So, I'm not going to get too much into the alchemist, just stating that I don't like the whole goblin switch over thing. Okay, this is what I'm talking about with the feat overkill stuff here. Like you get alchemist feat, ancestry feat. Oh, that's another thing. They basically built your character's ancestry, the race, into the class, and so it's like they're merging the race and the class into like one table here, which I find annoying because they should be separate. So you'll find your ancestry feat and your background, which was before you even get to class, inside of the class table. And so you can see here at level 17, you get your final ancestry feat. Don't like that. It makes the class table even more bloated than it should be. Anyhow, yeah, for as far as the feats go, like alchemist feat, another feat, general feat, alchemist feat. Every level you're getting feats. Alchemist feat, skill feat, general feat. So it's like, enough with the feats. If you would just change ancestry feat to ancestry trait, at least that would take it down a little bit. One of the things they complained about in the first game was there's too many feats and too many feat taxes and things like that. But it's kind of a different subject. Oh yeah, resonance. The resonance is a thing where basically, like 5th edition is, you can only have so many magical items, essentially, and you have to like attune to the item, which I hate the idea. I understand why they'd want to do it for like balance reasons, but I don't know, like attuning an item just seems more like it would be done with the creation of the item. I mean, usually I would think that the way you know an item is magical is because when you equipped it, it does something magical. Unless there's like a blue, maybe glow or outline to it or something. I'm not entirely sure how they're portrayed, but anyhow, there you go. Resonance. And something about alchemists in 2nd edition get resonance points equal to their character level plus their intelligence modifier. So I guess they get more resonance or something. But resonance also has to deal with potions. And so, like, if you drink a potion, I believe that consumes 1 resonance point. And I think resonance is based off your charisma. I mean, it's cool they gave charisma something, but I don't like that, because that means you could essentially drink a magical potion and it have no effect on you whatsoever because you're out of resonance points. That doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Okay, anyhow, let me see. Go back to alchemist. Okay, here we go. See, this is a nice table here. It's got everything I need, and it's simple, it's to the point. So let's see here. So level 1 for an alchemist. In 2nd edition, you get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first level is a little bit more bloated. 2nd edition, more stuff to it. There's a lot of information that's just missing. You know, like Okay, so bomb, like that's self-explanatory, right? Well, not only does it tell you you get a bomb, it also tells you the damage, and the damage goes up. I can just look at this, but with this, it doesn't even say bomb, does it? Formula book, proficiency, study resonance, alchemist feat. You get empowered bombs. Advanced alchemy. Like, where's the bomb? Do you not get? I just briefly looked over this. Not sure how they're doing that now, but if you don't just get general bombs you can throw every day, that's kind of a problem. Okay, anyhow, I don't feel like looking into that. Moving on. See how your alchemist feats, and they're all alphabeticalized here. Candy bombs, so on and so forth. Barbarian. I don't know why, but the barbarian, this is actually a female, but the artwork makes her look not so feminine as in like the other one. Maybe it's just me. But like, look, that kind of looks like a dude if you didn't know the character. Let me see. Yeah, here's the barbarian from the first one. I mean, I know this is still pencil, not like all shaded in and stuff, but a little bit more curvature. Looks a little bit more feminine, if you will. Okay, Bard, never liked that guy. Halflings. Okay, Cleric. Clerics kind of get one thing. When you look into these classes, you notice that they all get nerfed and downgraded quite a bit compared to the first edition. Like everything in Pathfinder First Edition is more powerful. The races are definitely more powerful, and the classes are more powerful too. One thing I noticed with the Cleric is you still get channel energy. Let's see where, oh, there's channel energy. Okay, so, and you know, it's either positive or negative energy. So in Pathfinder First Edition, when you channel energy, it's like it's a 30-foot radius, and you're good to go, and you can do it so many times. So I can probably just read it. Okay, there, channel energy. Come on. Okay, channel energy causes a burst that affects all creatures of one type, either undead or living. A 30-foot radius centered on the cleric. Right, the amount of damage dealt or healed is equal to 1d6 points of damage plus 1d6 points of damage every 2 cleric levels beyond first, and so on. Creatures that take damage from channel energy receive a will save, half the damage, you know, all that stuff. Okay, so that's what channel energy does. And up here it's like if you want to pick positive or negative energy, and that's what it, well, I guess that's what it did. You get to the second edition. My second edition says, you can notice, you know, the wording is a lot smaller here. This pool of energy allows you to cast either the heal spell for positive energy or the harm spell for negative energy. A number of times per day equal to 3 plus your charisma modifier, that means to prepare the spell in advance. And the spells are heightened to maximum spell level you can cast as a cleric. So if I'm a cleric that can channel positive energy, that means I can cast the heal spell. However, it doesn't tell me what the heal spell is in the class, and so if I want to find out what that is, I might have to jump to page 229 to find out what my channel energy does for my class. Whereas in the first edition, it tells you right there. I'm good to go with just what it says in the class. And you'll find that a lot when you're looking at these classes is they don't explain everything. It's there's a lot of jumping back and forth, and that's pretty annoying. So might as well just go there. Let's see, that's page 229. Is this 229? No, here it is. Aha, heal. Okay, so oh, this drives me nuts. Okay, so healing is actually necromancy in second edition, and I absolutely hate that. Absolutely hate that, because necromancy is negative energy, and negative energy hurts living creatures, and so it's not really healing. It's like undead is false life. They're not actually like, they're animated, but they're not actually like living, if you know what I mean. And so to call what clerics do with their healing spells necromancy is wrong in so many ways. It's hard to explain. I hate that so much. So anyhow, it says, okay, so for heal, you channel positive energy to heal the living or damage the undead. You restore hit points, so on and so forth. Okay, so there's 3 variances to the spells because you get 3 actions. So this is one of the spells that has 3 different variances to it. Somatic casting, this spell has a range of touch. You must succeed at a melee touch, damage the target. Somatic casting, its range of 30 feet. I don't even know if they have range touch attacks in the second edition. Anyhow, and then the third one, which is material, somatic, and verbal, you disperse positive energy in a 30-foot aura. And so this essentially is all of your actions in one round if you want to do a 30-foot burst of positive energy. In first edition, this would just be a standard action. So in first edition, I could take a move action, and then I could channel energy into a 30-foot aura. So the channel energy in second edition is actually worse. Even though you got like some variances to it, it's still worse. And I think even if you pick like the weakest variance of this, which is the touch, it still counts as you using heal for the day. So it's like one use of heal is completely gone, even though you didn't use the full 3 actions. And so it's, I don't know, I don't think that really balances out. Yeah, this is a standard action that does not provoke an attack of opportunity, and so that's the original channel energy. Totally nerfed in second edition. Weird. Okay, let's go back to cleric here. That's your deities, yeah. That's your domains. Oh yeah, that's one thing I noticed. A cleric only gets 1 domain. We can back up to that. Third, deity and domain. Yeah, select 1 domain. So up here in the cleric thing, channel energy, deity, and domain. And the other one, it's domains with an S, because you get to pick 2 of them. You get 2 of them. Clerics may select any 2 of the domains granted by their deity. And so you get 1 less domain as a cleric in second edition. I don't know why. That sucks. So yeah, it's another nerf on... It's another unnecessary nerf. Like, why? Were clerics really that overpowered that you had to take away 1 of their domains and you had to nerf their channel energy? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. All the domains, 1 would be... That's one of the reasons I didn't like a lot of the archetypes, because it would take away a domain for clerics. But anyhow, a fighter, yeah, Boleros. So yeah, the fighter gets the attack of opportunity, which is just like, you know, a normal attack of opportunity. That's your trigger. A creature within your reach uses a manipulate action or a move action, makes a range attack, or leaves a square during a move action it's using. So you make a melee strike against the triggering creature at a -2 penalty. Okay, so this is actually worse than the original attack of opportunity, unless I'm mistaken and I've been playing it wrong all these years. But an original attack of opportunity doesn't have a -2 penalty attached to it. But in second edition, I guess they thought that was a good idea. So here's your nerfed attack of opportunity for the fighter. So what you can do in this, which is kind of cool, if you like the action economy, is you can attack once, it's your normal I guess, base attack bonus. Do they even have base attack bonus in this? I don't know. Anyway, you can attack once without penalty. Your second attack is with a -5, and your third attack is a -10. If you want to attack 3 times in a round. And I also read that if you dual wield, you actually don't get additional attacks in a round. Like you used to get, like if you had 2 swords and you could attack 2 times, one attack would be with both swords and the other attack would be both swords. So you get 4 attacks in a round as a full attack option. But in this, if you use all of your actions, it's only 3 attacks. So yeah, I don't like that. I'm not liking it. Of course, you know, this is a playtest, and all this could change. Somebody posted on the forum, is it too late to rewrite everything? Oh, man. Okay, so here's your attack of opportunity, which I totally recognize by that symbol, not... Oh yeah, perception. Apparently, every class gets perception, which I think... I do like it because, you know, everybody uses perception in the game, so everybody should have it. I think that's an okay change. But I feel like there should be something aside from that, like investigation or something. I don't know. Something where you're trained to look deeper into things instead of just what you can see, like someone creeping in the shadows or, you know, something like that. Flat-footed. And that's not grappling. I wouldn't mind looking into grappling, because grappling in first edition, I could understand wanting to redo that, because you kind of need a flowchart to really keep track of grappling, I guess, unless you do it enough to where you memorize it, but it does seem a little complex. Somebody also said they had trouble making an archer-based fighter, and a lot of people are saying that classes are very stereotyped, and they find it very hard to break out of that stereotype and really customize the character that they want to play, because they're limited by the class design. And I can see that. Okay, aggressive shield. Is that, hold on, reactive shield. Okay, so if you carry a shield, you don't actually get the bonus to your AC. Like, it's not passive like it used to be. Reactive shield, an enemy succeeds critically, succeeds with a melee strike. You use the raise shield action engager. Yeah, so one action, because you get 3 actions around, one of your actions, you have to raise your shield if you're holding a shield in order to get the bonus to your AC, which I think is horrible, because if you're a fighter and you fight with a shield, you're just naturally going to, I mean, it's going to be like a muscle reflex. You're just going to naturally raise and move your shield around. You know, plus, even if your shield isn't raised, right, this still covers, you know, a decent portion of your body, you know, just like that. And so that alone should give you an AC bonus to some degree. I mean, unless it's like a buckler, maybe. But I don't know if I haven't read up on tower shields, but I can't imagine if you don't raise your tower shield, it doesn't give you any kind of AC bonus, because a tower shield is like nearly as tall as you are. Monk, didn't look too much into Monk, but it's probably nerfed just like the other stuff. Flurry of blows, make two unarmed strikes. If both hit the same creature, combine their damage and enhancements for the purpose of resistances and weaknesses. So the original Monk, the Flurry of Blows, they could throw some strikes. And then the Unchained Monk was like, the Flurry of Blows was just like 1 extra attack, but it was at your highest base attack bonus, if I'm not mistaken, thinking back. So you did get less attacks as an Unchained Monk, but it was more likely to hit, if I think I got that right. And so I thought the Unchained Monk was pretty cool. But this one is just make 2 unarmed strikes, and you can only do it once per round. I think the Unchained Monk let you use monk weapons as well, but this one just seems like you can only use unarmed strikes. Why is strikes capitalized? Strange. Paladin. All right, one of my favorite classes. And you know, I will say this: they got a good description for a paladin. You are a champion of justice, a holy servant of a good and lawful deity who takes up the mantle of a restrictive code to provide a certainty and hope to the innocent. That's pretty cool, because I think in 5th edition, a paladin can be the servant of an evil god. That's like the dumbest thing ever. And so a paladin in 5th edition is basically any warrior for any god, regardless of alignment. The paladin has always been like a knight in shining armor. That's a good alignment. And so, at least they stayed with that. So, retributive strike. This is essentially an attack of opportunity. So, trigger a creature within your reach. It's an ally or a friendly creature. And it lets you basically make an attack of opportunity against a creature that hits your ally if he's within reach. So it's definitely a more restrictive attack of opportunity. You still get a -2 penalty for this attack of opportunity, and it says you enfeeble the target. Not entirely sure what that means. You enfeeble them. Anyhow, champion power. So I guess you get powers and not spells. I can't remember. Oh yeah, here's one thing I noticed. Hold on. Go back to the 1st edition Paladin. Here we go. Okay, 1st edition Paladin. Aura of Good, Aura of Courage, Aura of Resolve, Aura of Justice, Aura of Faith, Aura of Righteousness. And that's like your base Paladin. It's all built in, but for this one here, the only thing I saw was Aura of Justice. And now you can essentially buy the other ones with like a Paladin feat, but it's not built into your base class, which is kind of annoying. How do you tell a base Paladin in the world running around? It's going to be harder to kind of generalize stuff. Let me see here. And auras are awesome because they affect your allies within 10 feet. Where do you buy them back? Okay, yeah, like level 4 Aura of Courage. Well, I guess you can buy Attack of Opportunity like the fighter, but you gotta be level 6. Aura of Faith, yeah. So these are all, you can still get all that stuff, but you have to buy them as feats. It's not like it's built in here. So, yeah, I don't know. Don't overly like that. I just like taking an archetype, which just switches some of these out, because you generally have an idea where you want to go. Plus, this looks a lot nicer than feet, all these feats that they got over here. I don't like the setup. Anyhow, Righteous Ally, you get something about like a spirit. I think it's funny because it says, your devotion to the cause of good attracts the attention of a Holy Spirit to aid you on your journey. So a Holy Spirit. Not the Holy Spirit, but a Holy Spirit. Bladed Ally. It's like your weapon. It's like your weapon, your shield, or you get a steed, right? Yeah, it's a paladin thing. Okay, so if you really like feats, man, this is the game for you. Oh, shield there. You tell me you wouldn't get any kind of AC bonus unless you actively raise it up. So you got a bunch of kobolds shooting arrows at you, and you're just holding your shield, but this doesn't protect any part of you unless you actively raise it. That's idiotic. Ranger, like the dwarf has a ranger. It's for like iconic ranger. Don't really play rangers or rogues that much. I do like sorcerers. I like the bloodline feat stuff with this. And here's another example, if I can find it. The thing in this, and they separate magic into, I think it's like 4 different groups. You got your divine, your arcane, your occult, and primal, if I got that right, which is kind of cool. I think sorcerers are occult. Actually, they're one of all 4. It just depends on your bloodline. So yeah, occult, divine. Oh, there's primal and arcane. So yeah, so there's all 4 there. Kind of interesting. I totally get, because your divine's going to be your clerics, arcanes, your wizard. Your primal, that's like your druid. stuff. And then your occult, that's like your witch. And I think they even put psionics into occult. I didn't buy their psionic book, but I think that's what they did, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I don't like that overly, because, occult means the unknown. So you don't know where you're getting your your power from. Okay, so bloodlines. Bloodlines they seem a little more difficult to understand in this one. I'll use Aberrant as an example because I actually played a sorcerer with Aberrant. Let me jump to that one real quick. Okay, sorcerer. The first one, Aberrant. Okay, let's see. Let's look at second edition real quick. You can already see how less of information you get for Aberrant compared to all of this, because this actually tells you like in detail what you got, where this just kind of like alludes to it. So for this, you got your spells. It's like your bonus spells, and you get your bloodline powers. So your bloodline power, initial power, tentacular limbs, advanced power, aberrant whispers, and then your greater power, unusual anatomy. And so what do these things do? I have no idea. I guess I'll have to jump to page 200 or 201, which, is super annoying, especially if you're new to, this is supposed to be easier for new players, but this would be, I think this is more difficult for new players because you have to jump back and forth all the time. Like if you're not, like I know what Aberrant is because I played an Aberrant bloodline sorcerer before, so I have an idea. This is your limbs stretch. You can do touch attacks and stuff. But somebody who's new, they have no idea about all this stuff, and so they're jumping back and forth all the time. It's going to take them like 4 hours to make a character. So over here in Pathfinder 1, Aberrant. And so there's your Bloodline Arcana, which should they get Bloodline Arcana in this? I guess they don't. Signature skills. That's kind of weird. I like the Arcana stuff. It was a little bit extra flavor. For example, you cast a spell of the Polymorph Subschool. The duration of the spell is increased by 50%. That's just kind of like a little cool thing you got with your sorcerer there. But for the Bloodline powers, Acidic Ray. First level, you can fire a Acidic Ray within 30 feet. Does 1d6 damage plus 1 every 2 sorcerer levels. Right? You can use it this many times. You're good to go. Long Limbs, which was the tentacular limbs. And this one is just long limbs. At third level, your reach increases by 5 feet whenever you're making a melee touch attack. This ability does not otherwise increase your threatened area. At 11th level, your reach increases to 10 feet. 17th level, your reach increases to 15 feet. All right, so whenever you make a touch attack, your arm will stretch out, and you can just touch somebody without having to get right next to them. Pretty cool. And then, so on and so forth. And this one doesn't tell you what it is. You got to jump to page 200, which, let's just jump there for the heck of it. Here we go. Okay. Tentacular limbs. Your arms turn into long, pliable tentacles, increasing your reach with melee touch attacks and unarmed strikes you make with your arms, such as fist and claw strikes, to 10 feet. This doesn't change the reach of your melee weapon attacks. So this is quite different from the first edition one. You can't actually make unarmed strikes. You can punch people. I don't know why you couldn't use your weapon too if you're going that route, like cut somebody with a sword at a distance, kind of go Dalsim on them. But whatever. So your reach only goes up to 10 feet, but in the first edition, I think your reach goes up to 15, right? Yeah. So in this one, your limbs are longer. You can't punch people, but I think you could probably house roll that because it would make sense, shooting your arm out. In addition to that, this is actually like a spell. Like you actually have to cast tentacular limbs, and it's 2 actions. So that consumes 2 of your actions, and it lasts for a minute. So for a minute long, you can make melee touch attacks. Whereas in the first edition, it's just whenever you're making a melee touch attack. You don't have to. I don't have to first cast the long limbs, and then on my next turn, then I can use my long limbs and the following turn for like a minute, right? So it's actually more complicated, and it gives you less info. So I found that annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is, but you know, with all of these bloodlines, you usually got like something you could attack with so many times a day. Like in the other one, it was acidic ray, but I'm not seeing that. You're just granted spells, regular spells. It's like that takes away from the flavor. I didn't read this through all the way. I was just kind of glancing through. Maybe I missed that. Anyhow, feats wizard. A lot of people saying the wizard is lackluster. The wizard in the first one was pretty cool. They got abilities like sorcerers they could use every round. Like I think the generalist wizard could like throw his weapon out to attack, and then it would just come right back to him. That was pretty cool. Necromancy. As a necromancer, you call upon the powers of life and death to use against your enemies. Yeah, necromancy is not life. I don't like that. Yeah, you have control over healing. You can actually get eschew materials as a wizard. That's a sorcerer thing. And then you get into skills and so forth. Yeah, I'm not going to get into too much of the rest of this stuff because I've been rambling for a while now. It's getting late. So, look, if you don't like the how they did the races and the classes, there's really no point going forward with that. And the new action economy is, to me, so-so. Could use improvement, in my opinion. Hopefully they do with the playtest. I'm actually curious what they're going to get out of this playtest. If they're actually going to take people's thoughts into consideration. I really would like them to drop the SJW crap. A lot of people are writing off Paizo and saying they're not going to buy their stuff and whatnot because of it. I don't blame them. I really don't. And I'll probably avoid their stuff too because that's definitely the route they've been going, and they're really strongly pushing it now. And I don't like that at all. So thankfully, I don't like Starfinder or second edition, so there's no really temptation to keep shelling out money. I just hope when second edition comes out, they don't stop putting the first edition out. But I really think Paizo is kind of lost. It's like they forgot who their fan base was, because they got popular off of people that really liked 3.5 D&D and didn't want to go to 4th edition, and they banked on that. And people, I mean, they like the complexity of a Pathfinder, and they're trying to, I don't know, take away the complexity and streamline it and whatnot, and it's not working. It's not what anybody asked for. So I don't like it. I'm sad. I really am, because I really like Paizo. I really promoted their stuff and stuck up for them and whatnot over the years. Can't do it anymore. Nope. Cannot do it. I'll still play Pathfinder, though. It's a solid game. I just won't touch 2nd edition at all. But yeah, looking forward to what the playtest brings about. I'm sure I missed ranting about something or another. There's a lot of things to rant about. Some good videos out there covering this. And you can always jump on the playtest forums and see what people are saying there. One thing that bugs me is when people are just overly positive about this stuff, when there's obviously a whole bunch of negative stuff. So, yeah, it's like videos like that irritate me. I always want to look happy, and you got to have a balance, man, because if everything's all positive, good, and you don't got the negative and things like that, it gets unbalanced and it gets perverse. So, anyhow, this has been my rant of Pathfinder 2nd edition playtest. Again, you can check it out on their website for free download, at least at the time of this video. You can check that out. Give it a go. Got thoughts? Let me know in the comments. And thanks so much for watching. And until next time, may the Lord be with thee.